Israel has ordered thousands of Palestinians to leave what it calls dangerous combat zones in northern Gaza on a day when it's killed more than 50 people across the Strip. Most of the deaths have occurred in Gaza City. In the latest attack, 9 people were killed, including 5 children, after Israel shelled a refugee camp in the city's western outskirts. Another 25 were injured in that attack. And we're just hearing that dozens of people have been wounded at a Gaza Humanitarian Foundation distribution site in Rafah. We're going to cross to our correspondent Tareq Azzoum now. He's joining us on the phone from Deir al Balah in central Gaza. Tareq, let's just talk about these latest attacks at the GHF distribution site in Rafah. What can you tell us?
Yes, indeed. We've got distressing reports coming from the notorious Gaza Humanitarian Foundation aid center located in Rafah, where hunger crowds have come under Israeli fire. And according to initial medical reports released by key officials in Gaza's health ministry, 2 Palestinians were killed in the latest attack, and at least 30 others were critically wounded. It has been very clear that 8 centers that are run by the notorious Gaza Humanitarian Foundation have become tragically death traps for several interlinked reasons, as we understand, stemming both from the chaos of this ongoing war and the deliberate military targeting. We saw different disturbing videos for the private security contractors and the Israeli soldiers opening fire near the hunger crowd. Despite knowing the locations and the timings of aid distributions, Israeli forces have repeatedly attacked or fired near 8 centers, especially when these large crowds have started to gather near the 8 centers, whether through drone fire, sniper shots, or shelling. But it has been pretty much clear that these are not protected routes for civilians to reach 8 centers. Mostly roads are under surveillance or targeted, and the absence of deconflicted access corridors turns aid collection into like a potentially a fatal act, and many Palestinians have been driven only by desperation and hunger to travel for long distance and to make this dangerous journey to the GHF and aid centers in southern Gaza, despite also the agreement that has been brokered between the European Union and the Israeli side to allow for 500 aid trucks to access Gaza. This agreement has not yet been translated on the ground, in light also the aggravating humanitarian crisis. So these attacks have become horrifyingly very common, and civilians have been trapped in these areas as they were trying to get their hands on any kind of food sustenance to ensure the survival of their families, Rob.
And Tareq, as we were talking about earlier, Israel has ordered thousands of Palestinians to leave what it's describing as dangerous combat zones in northern Gaza, pushing people further south. Of course, one would imagine there's going to be a lot of suspicion that this is part of the wider plan, or a wider plan, possibly to move the Palestinian population of Gaza to the southern part of Gaza around Rafah. How are people reacting to all of this, and are people actually moving?
Well, what we can see initially on the ground, specifically in northern Gaza, is a very dangerous and very heavy military operation is taking place in the north, destroying what's left of residential houses. Israel has been using lethal force that has been accompanied by repeated forced displacement orders for families to force people to be transferred to the southern part of the Gaza Strip. These areas are witnessing to huge military pressure at the moment, and families are not just moving to the southern part of Gaza, but they are moving currently to the western end of Gaza City, close to the coastal area there. But these families are still also being targeted in all areas where the military has told them to go to. And once they will be moved to the southern part of Gaza, Israel will be trying to completely link Palestinians and to push them towards Rafah City. This has been a part of the Israeli announced plan to forcibly transfer at least 600,000 Palestinians to Rafah City in the so-called the humanitarian city. But many Palestinians have been calling this step as a move that is meant and designed to push Palestinians to live in a concentration zone where they will be completely controlled, restricted, but we cannot see a huge transfer of civilians is taking place. Civilians are still clinging to their land in the northern part of Gaza, but they are moving only to the western end of the city and instead of moving southward. So it has been a part of the Israeli current military strategy, using a very maximizing military pressure along with repeated displacement orders and linking all kinds of aid inextricably to be distributed via the notorious Gaza Humanitarian Foundation of the North. So we have two elements here, the military pressure and the use of aid in order to force Palestinians to be transferred to the southern part of Gaza. It will help Israel in the first level to achieve its goals and objectives on the table of negotiation. And on the other hand, it will also increase more military pressure on the ground, which will help to achieve some operational objectives that have been set during the current military ground operation in other part of Gaza.
It's Tareq Azzoum there talking to us on the phone from Deir al Balah in central Gaza. Tareq, thank you.